What's up, guys? Welcome to KP Community, episode number 15. Got Garrett Phelps in the house tonight.
Yep.
Woo-hoo. Man of many words. Tonight we got a special episode. It is the last episode of 2021. Man, hard to believe. Holy cow. When did you start with us? It was 2019?
It was February 4th, 2019.
Wow.
This is my
So
first day. I was there the week before.
Yeah.
It was shadowing
Interview.
Adam.
Yeah.
But
So, man, flash forward 2021, big year for us. A lot of development, a lot of vision finally coming to fruition. We've got a number of big things to drop tonight. We are actually going to announce a few products. Holy cow. It's been 2 years of development now on one of them. It's been a year and a half on the other, and then
3 years.
3 years on the other.
My whole tenure here is this project, I guess.
So really excited tonight. Great way to end the year for us, prepping for 2022. Huge things for us on the horizon with 2022. A lot of partnerships, a lot of teams coming on board with stuff. A lot of stuff that's been going on behind the scenes at KP, I guess a lot of people probably don't really know about. So I'm going to shed some light on that tonight and go ahead and announce it, let people know what's going on. So you heard it here first. If you guys have been tuning into community, following along with us, we appreciate it, and we wanted to tell you guys first because it means a lot to us. Bring it to the community and let the community know what's going on, what we've been up to. So many of you guys that have been in the facility, been stopping by, you guys have seen this for a little while now. I've been talking about it, but really actually finally making this thing happen. Full launch in Chicago for ABCA, a week away. Looked at the weather, Garrett, by the way. It's going to be like in the teens to the 30s, I think.
That's better than what it usually is. It's usually like 2 degrees.
That's a little outside of my range, so
Yeah.
I don't have a jacket for that. We're going to have to be making a purchase here, it looks like. So KP...
Shorts and a t-shirt.
KP... Maybe not. KP Frozen Tundra gear coming soon. If you guys haven't already checked it out on the KP shop at KineticProBaseball.com, we've now got all new gear up for KP. Beanies, check them out. Cutoff hoodies, check them out. Garrett's still rocking the OG all black.
OG, yep.
Yeah, so against Garrett. We got hats, Richardson 112s coming in.
Yep.
We've got long sleeve hoodies. And what am I missing? I missed something. I don't know, but
The Climb the Mountain shirt.
oh yeah, we got the old vintage climb tee
Yeah.
in there as well. So check it out online, KineticProBaseball.com. Make sure you guys get swagged out. Beanies will be good for Chicago, I think.
Yeah.
So definitely rocking a beanie in Chicago. We'll be rocking the KP beanie, maybe a hoodie or two. So R5, we'll see. We're getting into tonight. We're going to talk about our first segment on how to. I did a segment this week talking about lead leg block, the terminology of it, what it is, how we use it, correlation to ball velocity. Really, the whole essence of it is just teaching the lead leg block. I think so many people teach it wrong, don't really understand necessarily what they're trying to accomplish with it. They teach just the extension. So we kind of dive into that a little bit tonight. So check that out and how to. Then we're going to go under the hood for our product launch. Couldn't get any more under the hood than what that is. Under the hood is our segment in which we talk about our KP philosophy and really why we built what we built so far as our system. So we're going to go real deep under the hood today and check out what we've been building as an engine over the last couple of years with our latest products and launches happening at ABCA next week. So pretty excited about that. And then we'll wrap it tonight and we will finish up basically talking about what's ahead in 2022. Maybe some of Garrett's New Year's resolutions and maybe a few of mine. I don't know what Garrett's New Year's resolutions are. We haven't talked about this. That was putting him on the spot, but that's good. We'll ask. We'll figure that out. So before we do that tonight, let's jump into our first sponsor for the night, which is, of course, ProPlay AI. Garrett, anything to add, or you you excited about the new year?
Yeah.
You got plans?
Yeah, I'm going to bed at 9 p.m. to train the next morning.
It was worth a try. All right. Well, moving on. Going to our sponsor of ProPlay AI. Check it out. Garrett, you ever wanted a deeper understanding of your mechanics? Yeah? Okay, good. Well, for years, to get fully objective information on biomechanics, you had to visit a biomechanics lab. This process was clunky. Markers, a cold lab, expensive lab equipment. It was a process that many either couldn't afford or many couldn't experience, or they just didn't enjoy it. Good news though, today you can get objective data on your mechanics right from the palm of your hand. No more awkward or expensive lab, just you and your phone. ProPlay AI presents to you Pitch AI. Pitch AI is a groundbreaking technology bringing lab accurate data right to your hand daily. Never has understanding how to improve your mechanics been so easy. Just capture, review, and repeat. Perfect your training anytime, anywhere. Pitch AI. Check them out today at proplayai.com. Special note here, ProPlay AI is going to be in the booth behind us, so come check us both out. If you're going to be in Chicago at ABCA, come check us out and say what's up, and stop by, crash both booths. Can't say that 5 times fast. And Mike Stone will also be there for your pleasure. Mike is a great impromptu discussion haver. And Garrett and I will probably be running around like crazy the whole time, so maybe not so impromptu, but we will enjoy talking to you guys anyway. So stop by the both booths, check out both products. We got a special drop tonight on ProPlay AI with KP. We'll also talk about that a little bit, finishing up tonight. Moving on tonight to our how-to. Garrett, tonight we're talking about lead leg block, something you and I have talked a lot about, understanding how to lead leg block for a pitcher. I really want to hear about it from the strength side at the end, so we'll dive into this video real quick, and then I'm going to pass it to you and talk about stability. And what is stability? I know, speaking of Dr. Mike Stone, Garrett and Mike had a great conversation where I just was a fly on the wall listening, extremely intelligent information about stability. It was interesting to hear you guys talk about that. So evaluating lead leg stability, kind of how that is evaluated from both the biomechanics standpoint is important, which we'll talk about in this video. And then kind of hearing about it from the assessment standpoint and the strength conditioning standpoint is also maybe really important to discuss. So let's dive into it. Here is our how-to. What's up, guys? Welcome to another how-to. Today we're talking about the lead leg. So in pitching, we have this term, lead leg extension, oftentimes lead leg block as well. I've got Matt Fowler here today, Director of Youth at KP. Help us kind of break this down a little bit. So, Matt, one of the things that I get a lot is guys come in here and they hear lead leg block or lead knee extension, and they ask me, what does that mean and how do I improve it? So we're going to kind of go over both today. And so let's first start off by defining what is lead leg block, okay? So lead leg block, when we look at the lead leg when we throw, so a guy will land, let's say he's throwing, right? So the front foot will plant in the ground, and we're going to have an angle. So the knee is going to have an angle. A knee that bends is flexing. A knee that extends is extending. So flexion, extension, right? Pretty simple. What we're looking for from guys typically is when they land, this knee should be somewhere around 35 to 45 degrees of lead knee flexion, meaning they're bent just a little bit when they land. So from there, they rotate. As they start to rotate and go into max external rotation, typically we see guys begin to extend this lead leg and move into what we call lead leg extension velocity. So that lead knee is going to start extending at a certain speed. So when we talk about the lead knee, we're talking about angles and we're talking about velocities, right? And we're also going to talk about the timing at which these angles and velocities happen. So we're going to go through that today a little bit, kind of break that down, help you guys understand it. I've got Matt here, like I said, is going to help us with a drill. We call it a feel. And we're going to kind of break that down, go into it, and help understand, like I said, the timing, the positioning, and also the velocity. So when we talk about analyzing mechanics, we talk about it at KP in 3 segments. We have our assess, our feel, and our drill. We have Matt here today who's going to help us set up the feel. So this is going to be an example of a feel, and it's a great place for us to understand, like we've talked about before, the timing at which the lead leg is supposed to do its job, the positioning that the lead leg is supposed to be in throughout the throwing motion, and the velocity at which it's supposed to extend when we need it most. So in this case today, like I said, we have the assess, we're talking about the feel, and then we have drills. Assessment is where we use like Pitch AI to objectively look at how Matt would move. We say at this point we've identified that Matt would have a lead leg issue, and we're going to be working on it. So we're going to execute feels. Feels and the ideas of feels is we're going to get away from throwing for a second. We're going to isolate this movement, and we're going to try to really fully understand the timing, the positioning, and the velocity. So Matt set up, like I said, in a feel. This is called our banded punch. So in this case, what Matt's going to do is Matt's going to set up, he's going to rotate his trunk just a little bit. What we're trying to mirror here, we're trying to mirror that moment right before max external rotation. So what we're trying to accomplish by putting Matt in this position is we want to give him a little bit of rotation of the trunk
just as if we were going into max external rotation. We're going to give him that moment right before his lead leg starts to extend and create that lead knee extension velocity. So Matt's going to rotate his trunk just a little bit. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that we see with our athletes is that they want to just extend the lead leg. They just want to basically try to move forward and extend that lead leg all the way out. Reality is that lead leg extends because the pelvis continues to rotate through the throwing motion. So what Matt's going to do is, as he works through this, he's going to really, as he sets up his rotation, he's going to really focus on rotating the pelvis and then working to the outside of the lead leg. I really like this drill because Matt's able to, as he punches, go ahead and punch out, Matt. As he punches, you see that hand is going to come across, and that's going to allow that trunk to move into flexion and that rotation to happen across the body. This mirrors exactly what we're doing when we're actually throwing. We create both linear movement and lateral movement through the throw. So Matt, give me a full speed, a little bit less rotation there, perfect. Give me a full speed banded lead leg punch. Boom, perfect, just like that. So that's a how-to today for you guys. We series this up and down between feels and drills. Like I said, we go from the assessment to the feeling and then working through the drills. Take this into your practice plan. If you guys need anything in terms of building out a structure that can help you figure this out, reach out to us as support. Hop into KP, come train with us. We'd love to see you.
So I think when I talk about lead leg block, people use that term lead leg block, really referring to lead leg extension. I think as this video obviously points out, there's a lot more to it than what I think most people would understand. But then beyond that, I think the one of the keys, I think this video really explains well that there is a way to approach this from the skill standpoint, right? From teaching the skill, the movement, or the velocity to some degree. But if we really want to evaluate this, we have to maybe go further than biomechanics, right? So I can look at pitch AI, get a report. I can see, positionally, this guy is maybe not in a great spot at certain times of the throwing motion, or if, lead leg extension velocity is not peaking at where we want it to peak, roughly sometimes around 200 degrees per second is typically a good marker on there. It seems like it's not universal and it's not absolute. So what we want to do, though, is we want to encourage the development of that. And sometimes to influence that, it has to be done in the weight room. So Garrett, my question for you is twofold. One is, if we're looking at, let's say somebody out there has a lead leg issue, right? They now have a feel, and there's a whole series of drills we can provide behind this as well. But they may not understand fully what's keeping them back from actually achieving this thing. So they understand what it is they're trying to do. They may not understand exactly how or why they're not getting it done and doing it, right? So when we talk about the physical side of it, we realize that there's a lot more to this, right? And it begins with a solid physical assessment and then building over time the strength or the stability necessary to actually create this. So talk a little bit about the assessment component of it, and how we would do that, and then talk a little bit about, not timelines as an absolute, but what you would usually see with our guys as they progress this over time.
Yeah, so the first thing is going to be the assessment. That's where we're looking at internal, external rotation of the hips in a static fashion using the modus at Biomechanics, knowing that we know that range of motion is going to happen, especially rotating around that hip. Lead leg seems like a hip thing, not really a knee thing. So really going to be focusing on the hips from a training standpoint. So the assessment of the hips. And then going from a training standpoint, it's going to be showing the athlete in a very controlled environment of how to actually rotate on a fixed femur, or rotate the hips around that leg. So something like an RDL, where a single leg RDL, where they're holding on to a dumbbell rack or a bench, where they're externally supported, but they can feel that, and now they can work through that range of motion, and then seeing that, okay, take one hand off, rotate a little, take two hands off. And once their ability to do that, then we can start training and actually loading those positions on that femur to actually create true rotation around that leg.
So the rotational component of it, when we look at the lead leg, one of the reasons why it extends is not just because it extends. It extends because the pelvis continues to rotate, and the lead foot is fixed on the ground, right? So when we have a solid foot, solid foundation on the ground, and we allow rotation of the pelvis, that leg extends, and it will extend rapidly, especially as the trunk starts to move, or as we're trying to pull the trunk forward, right? So when we talk about this, I think it's really important to lay out and understand that this is, and like many other things we talk about mechanically, right? It's not just a skill thing. It's not just a throwing. People want a drill constantly. And that's one of the, I know in this video, we give a feel, something you can try, but that's not designed to fix the issue specifically. It's designed to help you understand the issue, feel the issue, and then a more holistic approach to this would be understanding we're building strength, assessing the physical demand, evaluating the biomechanics side of it, giving drills, blending that into our throws. We're trying to create cues and awareness through the feel, not necessarily always trying to fix specifically the problem. We're trying to educate to hopefully fix the problem in time. No single rep is going to quote unquote fix the problem, right? It's a blending of this. It's the intent of doing it with quality over time. So you and Mike had a great conversation about stability though, and tell me a little bit about that, and tell me about maybe kind of what the future could look like for us in terms of not just KP, but people out there whose maybe misconception of stability is this, like, I don't know, it's maybe misunderstood a little bit.
Yeah, so Mike and I really talked about that, and you were there, and it really goes back. The biggest thing that really he opened my eyes up to is the velocity component of stability. And definition of stability is resistance to perturbation. It's basically just ability to resist movement in all reality. So thinking about, like, if I throw a pebble into a pond, you're gonna see those ripples effects. But if I like chuck that thing as hard as I can, there's gonna be more ripples effects. So that's perturbation. That's being able to see the perturbation in water. So that means velocity does have a component to it, and that's where, from an assessment standpoint, understanding that, hey, a hip airplane or a single leg RDL is a great way to see that and assess that, oh, hey, this guy can rotate around that femur, but it lacks the rapidness that it's going to need from a skill standpoint. So going into the future, knowing that velocity is a component, is going to be looking at what can athletes do and how we can assess that at a high velocity, but also on a daily metric that we can see changes over time.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not just balance.
Yeah,
and I think that's one of the big issues, that people evaluate stability as balance. Stability is not balance. Stability is the combination of other things, not specifically when we look at balance. So I think that's the overall, I listen to you guys talk about lead leg, and it's almost like they want to go into like a cobra pose, and like show me how good they are at standing on one leg, and it's like, well, that's great, but that's not
very static position, and there's no velocity. That's zero velocity.
So think about all the things that are happening in the movement. How many the whole body, like the whole body in general, is, as we throw, the whole body is rapidly moving into different positions, being called upon to create different tensions. And it's, so when we look at this, it's like, man, like for us to look at one specific thing in a static environment, like you're talking about, as of balance, that's not how this actually is broken down. So I think that's a misnomer. And I really loved that conversation that you and Mike had, because it was so interesting to hear you guys go back and forth, and talk about how we would evaluate this, because it's really not, like, nobody has a really solid evaluation of it from an assessment standpoint, right? So I think that's a really cool way for us to look at this in the future, and we'll have more on this for you guys in the future, and some of our assessment things that we're building, and maybe a little foresight to what we're actually going to be producing into the future here for this. So with that being said, hopefully that gives some context around lead leg block, things that you can do from home, do in facility, for you that are watching that are not part of KP, that are maybe just, trying to learn more about this. Number one, get assessed by somebody who really understands, the anatomy and the overall movement quality and the requirements of the throw, which is, hard to ask sometimes of people, but, something that it would be really important to start there. Utilize some technology like ProPlay AI's Pitch AI. Be able to evaluate yourself biomechanically consistently there to see change over time. You'll be able to create a system at which you're learning the process. You fully understand what's actually happening and when it's supposed to happen, whether it be velocities or angles, and when those are supposed to be in certain positions, or when it's certain velocity is supposed to happen. So you can identify the weaknesses in there. From there, you're building up into your feels and drills. And again, like we talked about, if anybody out there is looking for information on potentially how to create a better feels and drills set, reach out to us. We at support@KineticProBaseball.com. We have remote training, in-house training, etc., where we can analyze you and provide you feels and drills appropriate to where you're at to hopefully see change over time. So hopefully that's helpful. And with that being said, we'll move on to our next segment, which is Under the Hood. Garrett, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Boom. Let's go on to our Under the Hood tonight. We're going to jump over. Where do I even start with this? We're moving into 2022, man. This is exciting. We've been eyeing this for a couple years now. I'm going to go ahead and roll a promo video real quick of what we call Kinnect. So some of you guys have been with us in the past and know that we had an education series that was called Kinnect that we released back in 2018. The premise of that series was to educate coaches and players and parents on the segments at which we would be building into software, integrating into software over time. At the time, weren't really sure how we were going to end up there or finish that overall vision, but we had some interest in trying to create that, and we put our head down and figured it out, and it's been a really good few years here. So for those of you that have read through Kinnect, the education series online, that's going to be changing to Kinnect EDU here in the next week. And there's some new stuff, new drops for that as well that we'll be announcing at ABCA. But Kinnect is now software. Kinnect is now an app that's going to be on your phone. We're calling it the Kinnect app from KP. So I'm really excited about this. All of our products, all of our integrations will be going through this app. This will be the hub for your KineticPro training near and far, whether you're with us in facility or whether you're out in Japan or in California, wherever you are. We're going to be able to provide you insights, the same methodologies that we utilize at KP, and I'll be able to utilize them right from the palm of your hand with our Kinnect app. It is going to be available for both Android and iOS. So with that being said, Garrett, ready to drop the promo?
Yeah.
Been sitting on this for like 2 weeks. It's been driving me crazy. Slowly showing individuals this thing just to get their reaction. I'm super excited to drop this. Let's roll it. Ready?
Yep.
Kinnect promo. Let's do it. Yo, Kinnect is here. The future is here. Super excited about this, obviously. Let's talk about it. A lot going on there in that video. We've got 3 products that we announced: our KP bands, our KP sleeve, and KP Biomechanics. So we'll start off with KP Biomechanics. Many of you guys already know that we have been working with ProPlay AI for a long time with Pitch AI. We have taken that technology and we've worked with them to integrate that into our app. And we are going to be providing insights through our app, which we now call KP Biomechanics, through the Kinnect app. So that's number 1. 3 products, all launching. I guess technically 4. If you look at KP Biomechanics and you look at Kinnect as its own product, which it is, then technically 4. But Kinnect is the housing unit for all of these things. We will have modules within Kinnect. So KP Biomechanics will be able to take a video from your phone, submit it to our system, and then from there it will actually show you in the analytics tab all of your movement analysis from that pitch. So really cool technology. ProPlay AI has been just frontiering this for a long time. So much appreciation and from ProPlay AI for powering this for us as we've worked together on this. So KP Biomechanics, number 1, coming through. Number 2, we have the KP sleeve powered by Next Styles. We've been working on this as well, building our own solution. So there are some really unique components to a throwing program that we've designed, been working on in the last 3 years. This is now something that we are dropping and making public. So summer 2022, we'll be rolling this out full scale for our supported teams. We'll also be using this in facility with all of our athletes at that time. So we're just super excited about being able to produce this and be able to showcase to the world the ease of use at which we've created around workload management. So we've created a system. Shoot, it's been 4 years now. We've been working with this system. Back when I first started KineticPro, one of the main things that I really founded this company on was workload management and wanting to reach the masses and help them understand this philosophy of T3. So workload management is not just something that's throwing related, it's everything. We utilize it in the weight room, we utilize it in throwing space, we utilize it in our band programming. This is something that we really find is one of the founding components of what we do, and we found ways to work it into everything we do. So, but specifically throwing workload management, we've been doing this with teams, University of Michigan, Iowa, etc., for quite a while now, and helping programs and individuals, both MLB players and college programs and minor league players and high school players, independently understand this process and be able to apply it. We've made it digestible. One of the biggest issues in the past has been that the data is just way over people's heads. They didn't understand how to use it. We've changed that. We've made the system so easy to use. It's all one screen. You basically have buttons. Every button sits and resides on one screen. You literally have an entire platform right in the palm of your hand to not only give you what you've done today from a data standpoint, but also project your throwing out into the future. It's really, really cool. We're really excited about pushing this out there to the public. So that is going to be the KP sleeve. And Garrett, I'm going to turn it over to you for KP bands. Why don't you tell us a little about KP bands? This is Garrett's baby. Garrett, when he first started with us, I gave him, I don't know, it was like 3 months in, and I said, hey man, I got an idea. Let's try to figure this out. And we had some really crappy ideas to start, and then we came up with some really good ideas afterward. And then that ultimately turned into what we call KP bands today. And for those of you who don't know this behind us, we are patent pending. That's our diagram. This to our bands. So that's actually Garrett in like pencil. But Garrett, give me a little info on KP bands. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, KP Bands is the first fully dynamic bands program.
Crushed it.
So yeah, we really rehearsed that one. So you came with me. Yeah, when I was like 3 months in, you told me, hey, like I've always had a desire to have a dynamically changing band program. And from that day on, we started working on bands and understanding. Started with like elastic bands, trying to test guys out. Oh my! And then finally, one day, I don't know what, you went to Target and you saw a crane scale, or you did something, and you like a luggage scale or something, and you brought it over to the facility, and we just started ripping on it and see what we could do. And we finally found our TISO unit. So being able to get a bands program in a 2 minutes that changes based off of your fatigue level, and that's really where getting into the research data and understanding what muscles are going to work and why we actually are testing those certain positions and trying to make it as efficient as possible, where guys can, it's a same thing, one screen, super easy to use, and it's just able to see those changes from day to day. And a bunch of research we've done over the past 3 years, over 10,000 tests, and just working through there and understanding like it's one first of its kind.
Yep, absolutely. So I mean, when we look at the bands, man, oh man, it was like, I remember listening to guys complain about, we tried to push guys to like basically failure at one point with like trying to figure out if we could do that with guys to begin with. It was really dumb on our part, but not anybody like that was at the time like really overly doing it from a throwing standpoint. So we were just testing some things. But I remember Ben Hansen, shout out Ben Hansen for his help in the process along the way, like really gave us some insights, looking at things like inverse dynamics to help us understand how to calculate some things. We started looking at Emg studies and going through crazy amounts of Emg studies, all to produce really at the core of it, a band program. You have all these band programs out there today that are either very static in the sense that it's the same 10 exercises all the time, the same tension, the same set rep scheme tempo, nothing ever changes. Reality is, as an athlete, my readiness level to actually do those exercises changes day to day. So we needed to create a band program that would move with the athlete. So when I'm at my best it challenges me the most when I'm at my worst. I actually back off and don't fatigue those muscles. So that's our band program and the design behind it. We looked at Emg Studies. We tested with Naraxon. Shout out Naraxon for coming in and doing Emg Studies with us in facility to actually try to validate some of our movements and some of the things that we created. We were able to reproduce some of the Emg Studies that we actually looked over, recreate the exercise, look at the overall activation of that muscle that we were trying to shoot for. And I mean, just across the board, this whole process over the last couple of years, and we really did due diligence. It was like 2 years of really studying this and trying to see if we could do it. And then really the last year, we've really started to build the software out and start to connect this to our athletes. We have over 10,000 tests, you said, right? That's where we're at right now. So over 10,000 tests with teams, with organizations, looking at everything from throwing workload to bands, TISO scores to try to connect the two. We have some really cool case studies there. All this stuff we're going to launch in the future. But we're just really excited about, producing this finally. Like I said, we're patent pending on our process. We really think the bands, which will be available coming at start of ABCA here, really think the bands will be the first step for us in really pushing into a better future for the game and being able to bring this KP system that so many of our athletes have experienced in-house, bring the system out to the public. All of our guys have used that band program that have been in-house over the last year and a half, 2 years. And, a lot of our guys, they don't live without it now. It's kind of, just part of their process. So I'm really excited about that. Like I said, we have KP Biomechanics, which is, understanding and evaluating biomechanics powered by ProPlay AI. We have the KP sleeve, which is going to be a sleeve that monitors and measures throwing workload. So it's going to track every throw and provide us details back in terms of the overall load on the athlete for that day. Uniquely, we've created that around the patented technology of Nextiles, as well as our own system and overall calculations and build out of our software that we've been testing for the last 4 years. And then we have our KP bands, which, talk about, changing the way that we perceive and look at, resistance band training. It's specifically designed for pitchers. And it is, I think, something that many of you hopefully out there watching this today will get a chance to implement here in the near future. So check that out at ABCA as well. We'll have our booth. We'll have the bands up. We'll have our sleeve up and being presented. It won't be for sale until summer, like we said. And KP Biomechanics as well will be up there and available to take a peek at, learn from. We'll be dropping that also sometime in next year. So let's jump in here real quick, and I'll kind of go over this. We have really 4 tiers here that we're going to be calling generations of our app. So the first is going to be free. So if you want to download Kinnect, you can download it on the Apple Store or the Google Play Store at any time. Our band program, when you buy our resistance bands, our TISO unit, $180 cost, you actually get the software for free, which would be the prep, so a movement prep, as well as the prep band program. You'll also get our KP bands module there, which will allow you to go in and actually do the strengthening protocol and the testing daily. So that's our free model. The next one we have is what we call our KP1. It's our first generation, or it's our Gen 1, the first generation of our overall software. And what we're doing here is we'll have our throwing. So you'll be able to do with the KP sleeve our throwing module, which is uniquely designed with multiple assessment values and everyday dynamic throwing models, etc. We'll have our KP bands in there, and then we'll also have our prep. And then lastly, you have sessions where you can upload a video, store a video. You can, if you're working with KineticPro, send that video out to us. We can edit it, send it back, whether it be lifting, throwing, so plyo cares or pitching, doesn't matter. After that, we have our Bullpen Module, which will be featuring KP Biomechanics as well. So you get, again, prep, bands, throwing, KP Biomechanics. You're going to have a range of motion screen in there as well to check out how you move and some of the things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis, which is really exciting. So we'll tie that back into some of our other products in time. And then lastly, we have our Gen 3, which is everything. You get lifting, jump testing, range of motion screen, KP Biomechanics, the KP sleeve, KP bands, prep, everything, all on one platform. we're really, really excited about this because that full scale product is what we've been doing for the last 2 years at KP. And now we get to bring it to you guys in the palm of your hand daily. Really, really, really excited about this and pushing this out. So all this will be available. Gen 3 will be available early 2023. Gen 2 will be available somewhere at the end of 2022, it looks like, in full scale. Gen 1 is going to be available in the summertime, so early summer, and then free model with KP bands is going to be available breaking here at ABCA in Chicago coming up in 1 week. So that is Kinnect by KineticPro. We're really excited to push this out. Garrett, it's been a long time coming, man.
Yeah.
So Garrett and I have been doing this for 3 years together, and I know one of the things, Garrett's a man of a few words sometimes. But I know in our conversations daily how hard you've worked in the bands and in the lifting to push this out. And we have so much we're going to be pushing out in terms of education and materials around this in 2022, talking about how we've built our lifting program, how we've been building automations around this to more appropriately dynamically create these pieces. What's your kind of most favorite part about seeing this out in the wild for the first time?
It's probably gonna be the bands, just because that was like coming right out of school. You gave me a task, and I thought, man, we did our first test in like May, and I was like, oh, dude, this is gonna be out by the end of the summer. And I was like, this is gonna be great. And then just every step of the way, revamping things, changing things, trying to get it to the best it can possibly be. And now it's 3 years later, and it's like that is basically what I've been working on for the past 3 years, every day after training, after on the weekends, like trying to get that to be the best it can be because nobody has done it before. So
yeah, and I mean, obviously, that's just the bands.
Yeah.
And there's so much other stuff that we've done. Like it's just really exciting. So our hope, and really this is the vision of the company from the very beginning, is our hope is that we can not necessarily put a stop. We'd love to put a stop to injuries, but that we can be the group that changes and helps mitigate the injury risk and save a few careers, help kids not go through what I went through. Garrett, I know you have a story kind of similar. We really want to help the community. We feel this app makes it affordable. It puts the power in the player's hand and delivers a system that we've been renovating the last 3-4 years. Day in and day out, 7 days a week, 12-hour days, busting it, really working hard to deliver this as an opportunity for the industry to, hopefully change. And so with this coming out, we recognize, what this is really going to be and where it can really end up. But we hope that you watching today will check it out, give it a chance. Inquire more about it, maybe take some of our courses. Like I said, we're going to have Kinnect EDU coming out in 2022. We're going to be doing a lot of education. So if you're a coach out there and you're looking to connect with other coaches and you want to learn more about this platform, this software, we're going to be giving sign-up opportunities at ABCA. We'll be pushing those out on social media as well, online. We'll have some email campaigns we'll be pressing out for coaches as well there. Just across the board, really want to provide the opportunities where if you really want to be a part of this and you really want to learn, you want to see what we've been up to and want to learn from us, we're going to give you the opportunity to be intimate in the sense that, we'll be there to talk to you in some of these situations, whether they be roundtables or webinars, etc., to answer your questions and really help find the right solution for you. And that's why we have the multiple generations. We really feel that we want to press these generations out to be the right solution for your team or your kid or yourself to be the best you can be and provide that solution to hopefully help health and performance in what ways we can. So Garrett, anything to add to that to close?
No.
Perfect. Man of many words. So with that, guys, we're going to move on to the wrap tonight. Like I said, we're really excited about pushing this app out. If you guys have questions, reach out to us, support@KineticProBaseball.com. If you guys would like to set a meeting with us at ABCA, feel free to reach out, support@KineticProBaseball.com. We can get you on the calendar. It's filling up fast. But let's move to the wrap real quick. Boom, just like that. Let's move to the wrap and let's talk about what's ahead. So when we get to Chicago, ABCA this year, like I said, we'll have a booth. Garrett's be manning the bands, so he'll be explaining and working with individuals that want to come see the bands at our booth. We'll have them all set up, ready to demo. The KP sleeve will be there. Reeves will be with us to help guide and walk through the throwing program and understand the sleeve. We'll have a couple other individuals there, like Next Styles, the company, will actually be there with us, again, supporting of the sleeve. And we'll be next to Pro Play AI, the booth, to basically talk more about some of our products, such as the KP Biomechanics and how we've used that product over time. I'll be speaking on stage, the Expo Theater, with Pro Play AI on Biomechanics, so that'll be also an ad. And then we have on Friday night a conference room opportunity where if you guys would like to come and learn, it'll be our first Kinnect EDU meeting, and coaches that show up to that will actually receive free membership to our Kinnect series, our Kinnect EDU series over the year of 2022. So it'll be a free membership for the first 50 that show up. So we're looking to get more coaches in. We're looking to have you guys stop by. If you're not in that first 50, we're still going to offer a discount, an ABCA discount for you to sign up. So really, really excited about that. And we have some sponsorship opportunities as well for coaches. So want to make sure you guys get in on that. Check that out. Players, if you guys want to get in on that as well, reach out to us, support@KineticProBaseball.com. We can help you guys out there. For those of you guys that have just finished up your winter training, headed back to college, we appreciate you guys coming in this off season, getting after it as always. The busiest off season we've had at KP. Just an amazing time this year. Number of guys hitting new PRs, number of guys reaching and learning. I mean, I saw a couple guys just reinvent new pitches this off season that were nasty. So guys rebuilding themselves in the weight room. It's a short period of time, that winter period, for especially our college guys. But we're super thankful for the amount of work you guys have put in this winter, getting us there. As we move from 2021 to 2022, Garrett, I know you've been thinking about it. What are your New Year's resolutions? Or at least one of them. Just give me one.
Give you one?
Give me one.
I want to drive less than 3,000 miles next year.
Oh my gosh. So this guy tracks every driving mile. It is insane. Oh man. So he lives close to the facility on purpose. Yes. And drives as little as possible, and I'm completely impressed. From somebody who bikes a lot, I don't even get that less of miles on my car, which is amazing. So that's a good one. I like that. Yeah. Any other New Year's resolutions?
No, just keep doing the same thing every day.
So less than 3,000 miles. That's it.
That's it.
Just strategize
same
and execute.
Exact same thing we did the past 3 years. Next year does the same thing.
Love it. Well, one of my New Year's resolutions is to connect, big word for us this year. Connect with a new group of coaches, and I want to give back to the Tampa Bay area. So one of our big things coming into 2022 is we're going to try to impact some of the youth, some of the younger generation in 2022, giving back hopefully to some of the leagues and some of the teams out there. So if you guys are watching this and you guys want more information on that and how we're actually planning on doing that, if you're in the youth space in the Tampa Bay area, we'd love to hear from you. And if you have ideas around that as well, we'd love to hear them. We're strategizing those right now and looking at that and how we can make a bigger impact in the area. There's a quote that I like to throw around a lot. That I was given by a very wise individual, and he says you got to do well to do good, and I think we've done pretty well at KP, and we've grown the business over the last 4 years. It's been a fight. We're not done yet. We got a long ways to go, still moving upward, but I think we're ready to do some good and hopefully give back to the community a little bit in 2022, make it a powerful year, and hopefully get some of our systems into the hands of many, and that's what I'm really excited about. So with that being said, Garrett, I'll let you get out of here and go strategize on your less than 3,000 mile quest.
Yep.
I'm going to be very impressed. We should put a wager on that.
We
should put a wager on that. I feel like we should have a wager. We'll come up with something.
It'll be pretty hard, I think.
Yeah, I think it's very hard.
I'm doing the math. It's pretty hard.
That's very hard. So we'll come up with some sort of wager. We'll let you guys know about the wager as well. So if Garrett,
2022,
we'll let you guys.
Episode next year.
We'll let you guys take guess.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what it is.
If you guys guess how many miles Garrett drives next year, you can do it in the comments below. If you guys guess how many miles Garrett drives next year, we will give you a free month of training at KP. Sure, why not?
Sure.
To the T, you have to guess how many miles he is going to drive next year, and he's shooting for less than 3,000. So impressive. That would be very, very impressive if somebody did that. Well worth the 1 month of training. Guys, for questions about KP, check us out online, KineticProBaseball.com. Be sure to subscribe here on YouTube. We really do appreciate the new subscriptions and those that are pressing the information that we're giving out. We do this every week for free, spending extra time to make sure that we get this message out, things that we want to impact the community with. So if you guys share this, like this, tell a friend about it, tell a neighbor, always appreciated. So check it out, subscribe here on YouTube and online. Check us out on Instagram, KineticPro Performance, at KineticPro Performance. Check us out on Twitter, Kinetic_Pro, for not so many fiery tweets, but if you want me on Twitter, which is at Casey Mulholland, I'm a little more fiery on Twitter, which is some of you guys like that. But anyways, to wrap it up tonight, for questions, inquiries about KineticPro, you want to meet with us in Chicago, you guys want to join in on Kinnect EDU or just get more information about the Kinnect app in general, email us support@KineticProBaseball.com and we can answer you guys back there. With that being said, Garrett, episode 15 in the books, 2021 in the books, 2022, here we come. Let's do it. Yeah. All right, man. See you guys later.